As the saying goes, 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in the pharmaceutical world, that prevention is built on the pillar of kappa. To lead us through this architecture blueprint, we are honored to have among us one of the industry's most seasoned mind. Please join me in welcoming Dr. K. Sridhar, advisor and consultant to the pharmaceutical industry. Sir, we look forward to your masterclass on design and governance. The stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you. It was a wonderful lunch. And thank you, Punjab and Haryana. I have never been disappointed when it comes to matters related to food and hospitality in these two states. And thank you, Drugs Control Officers India Welfare Association, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Shri Kodeshwara Garu, Shri Lalit Goyal, Shri Rakesh Dahiya, and Shri Baldev Chaudhary for giving me this opportunity to present this session. And respected, do you have this? Because without that, I feel restricted. Okay. Respected guest of the day, Shri Dr. Kalai Selvan, IPC Director, Dr. Keshav Kumar, Dr. Nilab Kishore, and Dr. Sushant Sharma. Respected drug control officers and enforcement authorities, respected representatives and officials from the industry, ladies and gentlemen, namaste and welcome. Yeah, is it clear? Yes. Okay. I begin with appreciating the initiatives and efforts of Drugs Control Officers Welfare Association of India through their objectives of ensuring welfare of their officers and then promoting continuous learning. Learning is an evolutionary trait adapted by all living beings to survive against the odds. So keep learning, happy learning. The day we stop learning is the day when we pass into a vegetative state. I think you all understand what vegetative state means. So we find it very difficult to survive in this world the day we stop learning. So I appreciate you, sir, all the key office bearers of the association for ensuring continuous learning to its members. Thank you. So today's topic is CAPA, corrective action and preventive action. It's slightly misunderstood but grossly misused. So we'll see where it is misunderstood and how it is misused. People just do not realize the benefits of it and they see it as something that cannot be managed or cannot be implemented. But in contrast, that is the most easiest thing to do in any industry. Okay? So morning, Dr. Keshav Kumar was saying that there has to be marriage between the regulators and the police force. But then I'm sorry to say that you need to have a second spouse also. There has to be marriage between the regulators and the industry as well. Because what happens, sir, of course, I'll tell you why I'm saying this. The relationship between a regulator and the industry is more often than not seen as that between a predator and a prey. You all know what a predator is and what a prey is, right? It's not that actually, We are working for a common cause. The relationship between the regulator and the industry should be seen as, if not that between a wife and husband, at least that between an accelerator and a brake in a moving and a progressing system. So accelerator tries to move the system forward, whereas brake exercises control. So that should be the relationship between the regulator and the industry. So with this opening statement, I would start my presentation. Yeah, yes, a disclaimer here. Whatever images I'm going to show you, the cartoons or the graphics I'm going to show you in this are generated through OpenAI ChatGPT using the prompt that I have given. So let me give the credit where it is due. and the entire content of this presentation is distilled and crystallized from the SOP that I have been following for at least few years. I will show you the SOP and I also show you the form and some examples as well. So, there is something called situational awareness. If you go to Google, you will find it. It's a topic these days. It was first written by guys in the Google. You can find it in Google Scholar also. Situational awareness is nothing but perceive, comprehend, and project. You have to pursue what's happening around you. See, this opening statement applies more to the top management of the company and the top officials in the regulatory framework, sir. You have to have a system where you can pursue everything around you. You have to have such a signal detection system where you can pursue, then comprehend. You have to understand, comprehend what's happening, take some time, understand what's happening, and then project. You have to project the ways to address that or mitigate that. We call it as SLAM. SLAM means stop for a while when there is a problem. Don't rush, stop, look, that yellow orange signal. Look what's there, what's happening, what is the deficiency. And then assess, make an assessment. We are going to discuss all those things, how we are going to achieve this, and then manage. So, it's situational awareness that we should all develop and inculcate more, with respect to top management and the top regulatory officers, right? Okay, building and managing a CAPA ecosystem in CGMP forms. CAPA is not just a standalone item. CAPA is intertwined with your day-to-day activities and several quality management systems and your signal detectors. So that's the reason why I use the word ecosystem. CAPA is an ecosystem. It's a beautiful thing and a very easy thing to accomplish. We are going to see that. Okay, now let's go to the CAPA spirit. CAPA spirit starts with top management, and they should have a strong, beautifully well written, elaborate policy to drive the CAPA. It's the top management. Okay, top management should have deep involvement in that. It should not be limited by forms and SOPs. See, you should have an SOP, you should have a form. So people stop there. That's what is worrying me. I have been associated with several industries. People stop with the SOP, people stop with the forms, auditors, regulators also, sir. Most of the time, you see the SOP, you see the form, that's it. The audit is closed, no non-compliances, everything is fine. Then why do you have spurious drugs? If everything is fine, you have an SOP, you have a form, SOP is followed, form is filled, we still have counterfeit, spurious drugs, not of standard quality drugs, market complaints, so many things. Why is it happening? Simple, we'll discuss that. See, CAPA should be dealt with heart, soul, in letter and spirit, with good intent and intentions. It's a very clear, simple statement. There's no hidden grammar there. It should be dynamic with progression. What is dynamic? We will see. When I say dynamic, how it is to be achieved. It is aimed at having a robust quality management system, product quality and compliance. Somebody asked me the other day, what is the difference between a quality control and quality assurance? So the simple answer I gave it is, quality control ensures that the product is manufactured against standards, manufactured with reference to standards, set standards. But quality assurance ensures that the product is made for standards. See, against, okay, a drug passes all pharmacopoeial tests. Can we 100% assure that it meets all the necessary standards not written? Need not necessarily, right? So that is quality assurance. Quality assurance means standard is built into that. Quality control means standard is assigned to that. It's a difference between assignment and building into that, right? And CAPA should be used to minimize impact and enhance controls. The moment you minimize impact, the fear factor is taken away from you. And the moment you enhance controls, you have total control on a system, you will not run into future problems. Now coming to the description of COPPA ecosystem, a collective and interconnected system of robust policies. That is, you need to have a very clear SOP. We are going to discuss each of these. Proactive signal detection. Okay. Should COPPA be reactive, proactive, retroactive, or no active? COPPA should be first three. It has to be reactive, of course. It has to be proactive. I'll give you examples where it can be proactive, and it has to be retroactive as well. For example, you come across something today that has happened, let us say maybe 1-2 years back. You don't need to hide it. It is retroactive, right? You have to do retrospective investigation, and then retrospective, it has to be retroactive, but not no active, right? Proactive signal, sorry. Oh my God. Yeah. Proactive signal detection. What are the signals that you get for COPPA? We'll see in the next slide. Timely intervention. Timely intervention, that's very important. We are going to discuss all those things. Management, commitment and participation, very important. Transparent reporting, thorough documentation, scientific investigation. When I say thorough documentation, I'll also speak a few minutes on the data bank or the database and the modern AI intervention that can help us, because I'm also working on lab informatics using that. Transparent reporting, thorough documentation, scientific investigation, root cause analysis, review, implementation, effectiveness verification, closure and trend monitoring. So this is what we call a COPPA ecosystem. What's happening in the industry is, the first one, yes, they have policy. Okay, if not robust, they have policy, and then they have closure. This doesn't work. Sorry, gentlemen. Hello. Is it the screen or it doesn't fall on the screen? Okay, I lose my slide here, then pointer. Okay. So what's happening most of the time is, industry has policies, as I told, they have SOPs, fine, and then they also have closure. They have SOP, they close the COPPA, that's it. The rest of the thing, I'm not speaking about industry in general. There are some very good companies, I mean most of the companies are really good, but there are some companies where they skip all these activities. They just have a policy, they raise a COPPA and close it. That's it. So this is where the problem is now, right? And then definitions. Correction means quick fix. It's a remediation measure. The moment you do something, you should have something called a containment. You should ensure that it is corrected immediately. Let us say there is some mistake in the test report, we have to rectify the mistake immediately and then release it, right? It is a sort of containment. That is correction. Often people get confused, not often, 90% of the times people get confused between correction and corrective action. So correction does not mean a corrective action. Correction is an immediate remedial action, immediate remedy, like in the graphic, right? It's only for the symptoms. You come with the symptom. If he comes with a fever, you give crocin, that's okay. It's a symptomatic treatment, right? Corrective action. Corrective action is a systemic medication. Then what they do, the doctor diagnoses you, and then okay, you have some infection, he gives you antibiotic, right? It is something like a systemic medication. But preventive action is lifestyle management. In order to avoid infections, you have to maintain hygiene, clean health, clean environment. It's a lifestyle management, preventive action. So it's that's the analogy that I drew. Anyway, coming to the definitions, action to eliminate the cause of detected non-conformity. In simple words, corrective action is taken to ensure that it doesn't recur. It doesn't occur again. There are several examples we will discuss later, right? Preventive action is taken to ensure that it doesn't occur at all. Corrective action should not happen again. Correction, quick fix, immediate relief, like applying pain balm, that is correction. Corrective action We have to cure, like antibiotic and all you give, right? The infection doesn't come again. It should not occur again, recur. Preventive action, it should not occur at all, right? Okay, let us say there is some mistake here. Let us say, the light has fallen here in this room. Now they come and fix it and then they make some changes so that the light does not fall again. But now that is corrective action. None of these lights fall again. Preventive action means not just the light, whatever is hanging from the floor, are all of them securely fixed or not, so that tomorrow nothing apart from light, other than light, nothing should fall from the roof at all. Nothing from the wall should fall down at all. That is preventive action. So you revisit your infrastructure, or the engineering section will revisit the whole premises and see that everything that is removable, everything that is hung or suspended on the wall is fixed firmly so that it doesn't fall again, it doesn't cause any accident. That's the preventive action, right? Now this is the flow that we follow in our SOP. First thing is you trigger a kappa. This is, it tells the whole thing about that. First, a kappa is triggered through several signals, like, out of specification result. Investigation into OVS can be a source of kappa. Investigation into deviation can be a source of kappa. Investigations into your complaints, internal audits, external audits, laboratory incidents, anomalies, whatever it is, they could be a source of kappa that triggers the kappa. Then QA should log the kappa event. It should be logged, right? And then every kappa should have a owner. He is normally the HOD. The process HOD is the owner of the kappa. He is the guy who should ensure that kappa is taken to its logical end. Okay? So there should be a owner, assignment of owner. And then investigate root cause. We'll see all those things. Then we have to find out the root cause investigation. Okay? And then assess the impact. You need to do impact assessment so that you have to extend the investigation backward, right? To see what are the other areas or other processes or products that have been impacted or likely to have been impacted by the same mistake or similar mistake, which is very cumbersome and which is the most time-taking thing in the whole exercise of kappa. The first time-taking thing and important thing is impact assessment on the past events or products or processes. The next time-consuming thing is root cause analysis. So after impact assessment, then, my SOP says that you have to, I use the word draft. See, this is very important. I use the word draft kappa plan. So you have to prepare a kappa plan, right? Okay, you have prepared a kappa plan, but then since kappa is a vital component of a QMS system, it has to be reviewed by an expert also. Then we have something called kappa review committee. The kappa review committee should consist of senior people within the organization. So they review whether the drafted kappa is adequate to provide a solution or not. After it is accepted, QA approves that, and then they implement and then communicate. After implementation, they check for its effectiveness. So the form I am going to present to you, or this slide, will give you 100% clear information on every of these aspects, so that at the end of the session, you will not be left with, you will not be leaving the session with any doubts on how to address a kappa. That much I can assure you. But unfortunately, my time has been cut down short by 30 minutes, it's okay. And then close the kappa. We close the kappa. So, but what I have not shown you in this slide is trending. Sir, I do not know whether there is this system in India. US FDA requires the laboratories, the manufacturer at least, to send quality matrix data on a quarterly basis, yearly basis, done quarterly. Every year, FDA says you have to send your quality metrics. But your trending internally should do every quarter, but you have to submit these quarterly data every once in a year to FDA. So that is what is trending. We'll see when that slide comes more on that. So this in general is the kappa workflow. So closing the kappa, and of course 12th step you can take it as trending the kappa, right? Now robust policy. What is a robust policy? Kappa policy, as I told you, it should be well defined. I'm going to show my SOP also, and with a clear intent. The intent here is not to whitewash things, not to present something in a presentable manner. No, the intent here is to be truthful, honest, and then trying to find real solution to the real problems, right? That should be the intent. We have to define the scope and applicability, roles and responsibilities, who should do what in the kappa, like the kappa should, QA should raise the kappa, the kappa owner should be a part of the investigation team along with the QA, kappa committee has to review the kappa plan, and then kappa owner should ensure it is implemented, QA should ensure that it is effective, and then trending should be done by the QA and the department head jointly. Escalation and governance. You should have also a policy on how to escalate things. Certain times, kappa may need revision for several reasons. You have to escalate. Kappa may not be done within time. That has to be escalated. And then we also have to have a policy on governance, like management review committee. Where are we going to discuss that? Who is going to be answerable to whom on that? We will discuss that. Linkage with deviations, OVS, complaints, I think we have already discussed that. Okay, a weak policy will always result in weak kappa system, which actually doesn't help us at all. Signal detection, symptoms and the sources of signal. Kappa should see, most of the companies have a deviation form, a OVS form, an OVT form, or whatever it is. Most of the companies, what I have seen, the deviation form itself has a section for kappa, which I personally am against. Because if you have kappa in every QMS event form, like OVS if it has its own kappa, deviation if it has its own kappa, laboratory incident if it has its own kappa, then you are not cumulatively capturing kappa in one location. You understand? Kappa then will be, you have to refer to the kappa in different sources. That's not an ideal situation. So kappa should be a standalone. The moment you have a deviation, okay, raise the deviation, do the investigation till that time, till that stage until the impact assessment, but kappa has to be referred and handled through a kappa form. Similarly with OVS, complaints, change controls, audit findings, and all those things, and data integrity issues. So these are all the signals, or these are the sources of kappa. Data integrity issues, routine oversight. See, what's happening is, most of the companies, sir, I told you, there is something called reactive, there is something called proactive, there is something called retroactive, right? Deviation, complaint, OIS, audit findings, these are all reactive. You react after something has happened, right? Routine oversight. So wherever I go and wherever I worked, we used to have a team, a quality assurance team with a checklist. They go on the rounds every day. Every day they go to the lab and then make some observations, right? If they find some observation, that will be a source of kappa. This is called as a proactive approach. You are not waiting for mistakes to happen. You have to go to the mistakes. You sit like this, oh mistake, come to me. No, it's not a good thing also, right? You're inviting mistakes, it's a bad habit. You go and attack the mistakes. That's what happens during routine oversight. It is proactive kappa approach, right? Recurring minor issues. See, there is something called a minor deviation. Normally PICS guidelines, WHO, sir, FDA doesn't speak much on that. They say that for minor observations, a root cause analysis, a kappa is not required. It's not required, right? But if minor issue is repeating, then you need to have a kappa. Now again, the first question is, how do you know whether it is repeating or not? That's the reason I'm going to show you some beautiful Excels. You need to have trending. You need to have trending data. Trending data. You capture something, then through the trend you can know, I'm going to show you the slides also, you can know whether it is repeating or not. What is the threshold? The moment you say repeat, okay, if it happens once, okay, it's not repetition, it's first happening. 2 times, do you call it a repetition? We do not know. 3 times, no. You have to define a threshold. You have to define a threshold based on the minor observation, the classification of error, which we call error classification. You have to have a threshold, right? And then once something exceeds threshold, see, it may look complicated, I understand. But for small startup companies, we may not insist on such an elaborate system, sir. But for big established companies, I think this is not such a difficult thing, right? You have to define a threshold, and then if it exceeds the threshold, we say it is repetition. Then that calls for a kappa. And then trends. Again, the trend data will give you an opportunity to have a proactive kappa. Trending is a proactive kappa. As I told you, US FDA requires you to send trend data every year, okay, trended quarterly. I think you also should ask the industry for that data, sir. Let them send the data, sir. It's not an issue. I mean, if not today, because that helps you in several ways, sir. FDA plans their audit frequency also of a company based on the trend data. Anyway, that's a different subject to discuss. Quality risk management. That itself is a very big topic. I'll just touch on that. Quality risk management is a proactive way of handling kappa. You go with a risk-based approach. Let us say you're doing some method development and validation, right? Yesterday I was discussing with the pharmacopoeia, the team from the Indian pharmacopoeia also. Let us take the example of hypermalose in Indian pharmacopoeia, excipient, where we have to make some chemical reaction using hydroiodic acid and things like that, sir. There we have to have a vial, put it in block heater, aluminum block heater with a stirrer. ESP says, use a block heater with a stirrer. Then I never found any block heater with stirrer. I wrote to ESP, can you suggest an instrument where the block heater has a stirrer? They said, no, we have adopted the method as given by the manufacturer. I didn't find any block heater with stirrer, right? So anyway, so what we have done in the method, so this is the risk-based approach. What happens if you don't use a block heater with a stirrer? That is the risk. That's the failure mode. So this is the approach. Then what we have done, every 5 minutes we used to take, shake it and put it back, and that was a part of our method verification process. So when you design a risk-based approach, you come up with certain risks, likely risks. It's not that it has happened. It is probability of occurrence of a harm and the intensity of the harm. If the probability is severe, if the probability of risk is severe and the frequency of occurrence and the intensity is severe, you have to have a kappa. Let us say I am standing here under this lamp. The lamp falls on my head, right? What is the risk severity here? It's high risk. High or low? High. Okay? What is the probability of the lamp falling on me? Maybe very low, because this hotel has been, I think they are running this hotel for the past maybe several years. Not even once it has happened. So the trend shows that there is a weak probability. So the risk severity is low. There you don't need to have a kappa, right? But where the risk is high, you need to have a kappa. That's what is QRM, anomalies, laboratory anomalies. Somebody does an analysis. It is not meeting system suitability criteria. RSD doesn't pass, RSD doesn't meet. It's not wrong, it happens routinely. We call them anomalies. Sometimes these anomalies will give us an opportunity to build a kappa, right? These are all the sources of kappa. Now we have discussed what is reactive in nature. Reactive in the sense deviation, complaints, audit findings, and OYS. These things are reactive. Proactive, your routine laboratory inspections, routine laboratory QA rounds, trends, quality risk management approach. This is proactive kappa approach. Okay? Timely intervention. So this is called containment or remedial action. So immediate correction versus corrective action. I think we discussed what correction is, what corrective action is, what preventive action is. Correction is what is known as timely intervention. The moment you see something, the moment you know something has happened, you have to act promptly. You have to act promptly and see that correction is applied at least, so that it doesn't get escalated into a catastrophic event. Okay? And containment decision, then we have to take a decision. What should be the level of containment? Hold the batch, not just this batch or some other batches. Okay, you have to take a decision so that the batch is held, the issue is held there. Issue is not allowed to creep into other systems or out of control. Then you have to have quality risk management and risk prioritization. Your QRM will help in defining the containment level, defining the containment levels. Okay, what should be your extent of containment and what should be the extent of kappa? Sometimes QRM can help you design that. Timelines and ownership, and then you have to have timelines. By when should that containment happen? By when should that correction happen? I'm not still speaking about corrective action and preventive action. I'm only speaking about first intervention. You have to have timeline by when should the correction should happen or correction should take place, and who is the owner. See, ownership has to be very, very clearly written in the kappa form. You cannot just use the word, the analyst has been instructed to do this or that. No, that serves no purpose at all. Who is the analyst? There are 100 analysts. Who is the analyst? Who are you going to make accountable tomorrow if that has not happened? You have to see that analyst Sridhar has been instructed to hold this batch number 133 by 1 by this date till further notification. That is correction, right? And then when to stop a process or activity. So you need to have a policy and a discussion based on your risk approach. At what stage do you want the process to be stopped and when it's to be stopped? Sometimes you don't need to stop also, depends on the issue. And for the regulators, sir, you have to watch the timelines to assess the firm's prompt response. If an event has occurred, let us say on 1st March 2026. Today we are on 22nd March. If they have raised a deviation now, it means that the company and its staff are in a deep slumber or in a deep sleep, right? They are in a deep sleep. It's not a good sign. You do not have a proper signal detection system. Forget about kappa, right? So you have to check for the promptness of the responser. If the issue has happened today, they have recorded the event today, it's a good company. They have very dynamic signal detection system, right? But that's where, if you go to the inspection, sir, most of the cases you will find that this doesn't happen. Or some people backdate it. We will come to that later, sir. They do backdate. There is event today, but they put the date of that day. So that's the common practice. And better late than never. Sir, we should appreciate people. So there is one company where I went, sir. We observed a very big mistake there. And then it's almost about 6 months. Then they said, sir, it's almost 6 months over. To do impact assessment and all, it calls for a hell of effort. Should we just discuss it but not record it? I said, anything not recorded, don't discuss with me. I'm here to discuss only that which is recorded. So better late than never. Yes, even about 6 months, you record it. And the regulators should also appreciate such efforts, sir. Instead of questioning them, okay, it happened 6 months back, why did you record it now? Okay, but first thing is, you appreciate that they have at least recorded it. They're not hiding anything. You have to appreciate the transparency. And then ask them gently, okay, 6 months has passed, why have you recorded it now? Then if you say, sir, this is a case in isolation, okay, you can forgive them, sir. But if it is a practice and a trend, then that causes, it's a cause for concern. So better late than never. This is on timely intervention. Transparent reporting. See the picture here. Who is the person to the left? He is the boss. like all of us. Who is the person to the right? He is an intern or a junior, just started his job, or an analyst, like some of us, right? And then he comes sweeping and the boss gives him assurance. So wherever I go, sir, first statement I go and tell them is, whatever mistakes you have done, you are allowed to do mistakes. An analyst, a junior level staff, the only the advantage that he has is he can do mistakes, sir. He is given that flexibility and luxury of doing the mistakes. I said, do mistakes, but I will not blame you, I will not see that it affects your career progression. Do mistakes, no problem, but report it, own it promptly. Come and tell me that I have done this mistake. You do n number of mistakes as long as it is not with malified intention. See, the moment I say do mistakes, they cannot do intentional mistakes, sir. Mistakes cannot be intentional. We will come to, there is a beautiful slide on that, so I will present that. It's going to be an eye-opener for some of the people at least. You do mistakes but not with intention, not with a malified intention, not with a wrong intent. Accidental mistakes you do and report to me, I will appreciate you, all right? Because most companies, what is happening, sir, they do not have open reporting culture. The moment a guy goes and tells that I have done a mistake, the boss will shout at him, he will punish him. Then I tell, why are the senior people in the company there for? What are you here for? I call a manager, you are not here, you are not doing any bench work, you don't do glassware washing, you don't do dilutions, you don't run HPLC, you don't do anything. And when somebody comes with a mistake, you threaten them, you don't guide them or offer any advice, then why is this company paying you 4 times the salary that he is getting? Why are the seniors there for? If the seniors are there for addressing the mistakes done by the juniors and guiding the juniors in ensuring that they don't do those mistakes. If the seniors are not receptive, if they are not willing to take or hear to the mistakes, then he is the wrong person in the right place. A senior should listen to the mistakes, sir. The moment you criticize or punish someone for the mistakes, you have lost, the company has lost a golden opportunity for signal detection, sir. You will not get any signals. There is no signal. Signal is lost. You can't make a call. There is, that's the mistake that companies do. Open report culture, no blame but not concealment, and no concealment. See, CAPA is not about blame game. QMS, the spirit of QMS is don't blame anyone. It's not blame, it's a collective failure, right? And we also have a slide on that, sir, what collective failure means, where collective failure comes into picture, I'll show you that. And, but don't blame anyone, but having said that, don't conceal anything. Report, 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 big, small, good, bad, ugly, anything you report, sir. I'll show you that form also. I'll show you the form where the good, the bad, the ugly is reported and in what way it has benefited the organization, right? Escalation pathways. You should have a very clearly defined escalation pathway, sir. Like for example, sir, in one of the cases, a boy has come, in one of my companies we have a grievance redressal cell. A boy has come weeping, he said, sir, you told me that whatever mistake I make, you report. I reported, but my HOD has punished me. Then we took him to the council and then this is escalation pathway, right? So you have to have a policy. See, these are all common sense and it doesn't cost industry anything, sir. Industry is not spending any amount on these mechanisms. So you have to have an escalation pathway on when to escalate, to whom to escalate, and what is the way through which it has to be escalated. Cross-functional visibility, this is very important, sir. There's one company, I think you might have heard about, company called Kinetic Honda, sir. Kinetic Honda, that one of my colleagues was working there. He told me once that in Kinetic Honda, they used to send the senior people on leave intentionally by force for at least 1 month, sir. So that the next person comes and sits and then he unearths all the hidden trash that guy has left. So if the same person is sitting in the same position, you will keep on hiding the mistakes, thereby causing a damage to the company and a nasty surprise to the top management. So in one of the companies, what I said, every 6 months, at least for 1 week, there has to be a role rotation, sir. If there is a QA guy or QC guy heading HPLC department, he should be sent to wet chemistry, and the wet chemistry guy should be there for at least 1 week. So this is called cross-functional visibility. All these contribute towards transparent reporting, open culture, no concealment, escalation pathways, cross-functional visibility, regulatory credibility. So the moment you have open reporting culture, the moment you have transparent reporting culture, to a regulator, sir, tomorrow when you go to an audit, sir, when somebody has written everything with good intent, instead of punishing him, sorry, not the word punish, instead of questioning him, you will appreciate him. Yes or no? Because some of you are regulators, sir. Give me a genuine feeling, I mean a genuine answer. When you go to a company which has recorded everything genuinely, all their mistakes, will you appreciate him or not? You have to appreciate, sir, because that is the incentive that you are giving to the industry. We have to appreciate, right? Okay. So again, please be mindful of the fact that issue doesn't stop with just reporting and not hiding. It's not that. There's, so much things to do. And then watch for lines of intimidation. The policies or SOPs are impractical overstatement. Some of the policies, some companies, they have a policy that if an analyst does a mistake, take stern action against him. It's a statement that is very deleterious to the health of our organization. You do not have a SOP, and when you go through such SOP, when you find such statements, you have to advise the people to remove such statements, right? Interact with staff. So we have something called a Gamba walk. It's a Japanese culture. All the senior management, once in a month, we interact with the staff and then know interact with the staff, and when we go also, you have to interact with the staff. Sir. Levels of accountability, burden of error. See, what is the levels of, how accountability is assigned? Is it just the analyst always who is the scapegoat? Is it just the analyst who is always blamed for the wrongdoing? Is it not the system? Is it not the ecosystem of the company that has allowed the analyst to do the mistake which is accountable or not? Yes or no? To a degree, yes. If the analyst is doing the mistakes, then the company's ecosystem should be made accountable for that. Why is it giving an opportunity for the analyst to do mistakes? Why has it not narrowed down the process so that people cannot digress? The moment you keep a wider highway and a path, people tend to digress. You have to have a narrow policy so that they don't digress and the opportunity to do mistakes is limited. It is a functional failure of the organization, of the top management. Then that is where the accountability should be there, right? So all these things help us in giving a good CAPA and root cause analysis. Burden of error. Let no staff carry the burden of error to home at the end of the day. I tell my analysts, let us say you have done 3 mistakes today. Don't go home with the burden of those 3 mistakes and spoil your sleep. At the end of the day, you confess to the PA, write in the logbook that these are the mistakes that I have done. Go home, have a nice sleep, nice weekend with your family, that's it. So they should not carry the burden of error, and that reporting structure a company should develop. A company should develop such a reporting structure where a transparent reporting is facilitated. Thorough documentation. So this is the backbone of CAPA or any investigation, sir, even for the regulators or investigation agencies. So documentation is what we rely on most of the times. Need not be all the times, most of the times. CAPA form completeness. I will run through my CAPA form at the end of the session. The CAPA form should be filled completely, again in letter and spirit. There is no meaning in just writing something for the sake of filling the form and then showing that there are no blank spaces. No. It has to be filled in spirit. Clear event description. See, the devil is in the details, we say. The event has to be very clearly defined, like in FIR. So unless you define the event very clearly, the investigator or the person who is suggesting a CAPA will not be able to suggest a CAPA or do some root cause analysis. Chronology of the event, one after the other, because that gives us a rationale for logical conclusion. References to investigation records. See, when we do the investigation, we have to refer every record, sir. Some people say, for example, elaborate investigations, HPLC has been verified, it was found calibrated. Which HPLC? A company may have 100 HPLCs. Which HPLC has been verified, on which date, and what was the calibration certificate that ensured or that states that the instrument is calibrated. All those details have to be, references have to be given, cross-reference has to be given. I'll tell you in the later slides why it is important. Impact assessment. So, your impact assessment has to be thoroughly documented. Impact assessment is the most misunderstood and again one of the widely misused things. People say, for example, let us say, sir, an analyst has done a mistake. Let us say there is an out of specification test result. There it was concluded that the analyst has not sonicated the product for 15 minutes and then has sonicated only 5 minutes, and they say it's the analyst error. Fine, it's analyst error. It's very easy for investigator to push the blame on analyst. Then I called them and said, okay, how many analysis this guy has done in the last, let us say, 6 months or whatever it is. Then they said maybe 15 to 20. Then if he has done a similar mistake here out of ignorance or maybe out of whatever reason, then it's quite possible that the similar mistake might have been done in elsewhere, I mean other cases also. Have you done the impact? Have you taken those results and done an impact assessment, because they were passing, probably method or had he maybe had he done the mistake there, the result could have been either pass or fail, we do not know. If he is caught doing mistake here, there is a likelihood that he might have done mistake there also. Where is that impact assessment? Have you then reviewed the data of the past? So this is the most cumbersome activity, sir, impact assessment, as I told you in the beginning. People should spend some resources on that. So that has to be thoroughly documented, sir. Action plan documentation, we have to document what should be the action plan for the next steps to progress. The granular details, I think we discussed it, the devil is in the details. Revision history, you have to maintain revision histories of various investigation reports. See, sometimes, sir, as in case of law also, the charge sheets are filed one after the other, sir, right? For example, when you have a CAPA plan or when you have some investigation, every investigation report, I prefer that it should have a revision version history, sir. Tomorrow when the investigation progresses, as a new evidence comes, you may have a revised version of the investigation, right? So it's better that you have revision history for every investigation report. Linked records such as training, change control, validation, everything that your the document should have when you are doing investigation with respect to a person, which we'll see in the next slide. What are the records that you have verified? Everything has to be given as annexures 1, 2, 3 at the end of the CAPA report. Level of documentation shows the intent. So the level of documentation, sometimes CAPA reports with investigation annexes may run into hundreds of pages, it's fine. But then that shows the intent of the organization on fixing an effective CAPA, okay? Scientific investigation. Now see the graphic here on the left side. What is the guy doing? He is hallucinating. He is hallucinating. He closes and then he comes to some conclusion. Oh, okay, I see a cow where there is a tiger. So that's what's happening in the investigation reports. They write some nonsense because they have to write something, right? They write, oh, this, that, and some people, they write these many pages, sir. These many pages. When I go, I have several examples which for reasons of confidentiality I can show you that. When I go through that, you don't find anything in that. There will not be any substance in that. So the diagnostic test has to be very prompt. Fact gathering. The fact should be gathered and it's an exercise by itself with objective evidence. Data review, chronology construction, reconstruction, interview discipline. Ignorance is the thief of quality. So this is what sometimes happens. Sometimes some mistakes may not be visible to us. We cannot see that a fire has taken place there. Sometimes it's not visible. But you have to go to a level where you can see things otherwise not visible. Like for example, one day, sir, I called a boy, we interacted with him. There was some OAS, sir. Then I asked him to weigh the sample before me. It is an interaction, with the interview with the guy. He was weighing. In the butter paper, what I found, that boy has excessive sweat on the fingers, sir. Sweat. So when you use a hand with a sweat to lift the tear, or in a weighed butter paper, the sweat will add to the butter paper and give you a wrong result, wrong weight, right? It is because the company doesn't have any training on good weighing practices, this has resulted. So the moment he has used his sweaty hands, the weight has altered. The back weight is more, right? So that otherwise you will not know, sir. You will not know through objective document evidence. Everything seems perfect. He is trained, balance is under calibration, he has come, taken the weight of the substance shows that he has been weighed, he has made the dilutions up to the mark, everything is fine. But this thing you come to know only upon thorough investigation or thorough interaction with the subject, right? Equipment, method, material, environment and person, they all have to be reviewed. We will discuss in the next slide. Avoid assumptions. Assumptions can be entertained to be a starting point for investigation, sir, but not a concluding point for investigation. You can assume and then do the investigation based on assumptions and then cancel out each assumption one after the other, right? But you cannot assume and close an investigation. That's what is happening, sir. I think these lines. Evidence-based investigation, and it has to be objective, not subjective. So your investigation should be based on evidence. Now, at the end of this slide, we will come to an interesting discussion. Scientific intuition and logical derivation. See, we need to have some scientific intuition because, see, investigation, has to be done by a team comprising of a technical expert, a guy who is really good in laboratory understanding or manufacturing understanding, right, process understanding, and then by a senior person from the QA because they have that investigative mindset, and these guys are technically strong. It has to be a team that has to do the investigation, right? Do not look for, so in any CAPA or root cause analysis or investigation, words like may have been occurred, probably this has occurred, it's likely that that has occurred, it's possible that has occurred, you cannot use those words. Pardon, sir? Where is the timer? 3:30. So I think 1 hour is over. Okay. Yeah, maybe 10 minutes, I'll just rush through that. Okay. So then when you go for the investigation, you also should look at the composition of the investigation team, and that gives you a credible information on how serious the organization is in concluding its investigations. Okay. Anyway, this slide I think will be presented. Root cause analysis. Then you have to use the tools like 5 Eyes, fishbone diagram, 6 M's, man, machine, method, material, mother nature, measurement. You investigate each of the aspects so that you come at a root cause, probable root cause, or maybe definitive root cause. Failure mode and effects analysis, root cause versus apparent cause, true cause versus apparent cause, human error. So most of the times when people push it on the human beings, human error is not usually sufficient. Then we have to do vertical and horizontal analysis to see where else it has crept into. Vertical analysis is how it has crept into the process. Horizontal analysis is what other locations it has crept into, right? Check for records verified and data bank analysis, human error handling, and I think since I only have 10 minutes now, I'll rush through this. Now, so data bank. I'm coming to the data bank, sir. See, Madam Madhumati, her name, sorry. Yeah, she has presented on the structured data. But we are building a lab informatics thing where we are using database tools, AI tools like RAG and MCP. RAG is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, sir, where it takes your images, your diagrams, your pictures, everything, and then uses that to arrive at a conclusion. And MCP is Model Contrast Protocol, which handles your dynamic data. For AI to give you a root cause analysis, it's going to be the norm, sir. The new norm is that you can use AI for root cause analysis. If you see the yesterday's Supreme Court judgment also, it allows AI to be used in building a case, but with human intervention, right? So this is possible only when you have data. You can have any data, the structured, non-structured data. Structured data like your databases, Excels, all these are structured databases. Non-structured databases are like your printouts, photographs, videos, like images. These are all non-structured database, right? And then I think there's more on root cause analysis. Review of CAPA plan. Okay, I'll do one thing, sir. Then, since the time is limited, shall I run my CAPA form so that you'll understand everything in the form? And at the end of this session, I will close with a story and then ask you for your root cause on that, right? Okay, sir. So now coming to trending, sir, I think just in 10 minutes I'll close. This is how we trend data, sir. This we do every quarter. So now this is quality impacting analytical events reason wise. So what is the contributing factor? If you see here, instrument is 35%. It is the biggest contributing factor, problems in instrument, right? And then, sorry. Okay, and then this is the instrument wise, which instrument is contributing more towards analytical events, trending. And then this is human or non-human wise. 41% of errors are due to human errors, and 59% of errors are non-human errors. And then this is by the name of the person. I have hidden the names for reasons of confidentiality. Which person is involved in how many? I mean, again, this is not a means to intimidate people, so it's only for data gathering. So this is the employee event log I've been telling you, sir. So we call events, sir. We are not calling employee error log. It's event log, good, bad, ugly. Everything related to employee is trended here, so that tomorrow we come to know whether this guy is a repeated is repeatedly erring or not. Just want to take you to this one important slide, sir. After that, we'll close with a story. Yeah. So this is how we classify human errors, sir. Human error classification. I have classified human errors as arising out of ignorance, as arising out of cursory practice, arising out of negligence, arising out of bad intention. Say a guy has done a mistake because it is out of ignorance. He doesn't know he has done a mistake. Then cursory habits. Some people are very casual in their approach. They are knowledgeable. They are not bad also. But because of their casual approach, they do some mistakes. Negligence, same. It's more severe than cursory habit. Some people are negligent and then they do the mistakes. They're not bothered about the consequences. Malified intention, some people do with criminal intention. They do manipulation because they want to do manipulation. Now, how do you handle these human errors? Ignorance is something that can be fixed through training, sir. We give on-job training and the person is ignorant. Any error arising out of ignorance should not be attributed to the person who has done, sir. It has to be attributed to the person who has trained him. The accountability lies with the trainer. And cursory habit, we give them a remediation training. We keep them aside. After remediation training, we call them and then again qualify them. Negligence, remediation training, inculcation. Inculcation is, bombard him with the good things on the training, and the stern warning we give. Malafide intention, in some companies they file a petition, police case also, sir. In some companies, FDA very strongly says, if you go through the FDA FAQs, frequently asked question on data integrity, FDA on data integrity and PICS guideline on data integrity suggests that you go ahead and file, some legal action has to be taken by against those people with malafide intention, right? Okay, verification of effectiveness of CAPA, sir. Once the CAPA is closed, it has to be verified. It applies to regulators also, sir. Through auditing, you go and audit them. Through spot checking, you go and check that spot alone. Through monitoring, monitor the trends or over a period of time, particularly when it comes to the practice of a people. You monitor that guy for over a period of time and see if it has been rectified or not. That is how you can say it is effective or not. Trend analysis, periodic product or process review. Using these tools, you can verify the effectiveness of the CAPA. Okay, and just 2 more minutes. Sorry. So this is the CAPA form. So the sources of CAPA, and then the process of procedure document which is affected, reference to event, and then this is the investigation team, who are the guys who are going to investigate the root cause analysis, investigate in details. You can see add extra pages if required, and then identified or probable root cause. See, the word probable root cause is it can take place only when you have demonstrated sufficient efforts at finding the root cause. What USFDA says is that despite best efforts to identify a root cause, sometimes there cannot be a root cause, definitive root cause identified. Then you can go with a probable root cause based on scientific intuition and logical conclusion, provided you have demonstrated your efforts. Otherwise, the regulators will not accept that. And then impact assessment, and then containment, and then corrective action, preventive action, resource required in order to implement the CAPA, validation, verification, quality required or not, CAPA owner sign and date, and this is CAPA review committee. They review the CAPA for its adequacy, and then they give their comments. And then here in the CAPA form itself, sir, what should be the means of effectiveness monitoring? How are you going to monitor the effectiveness of CAPA? Is it through auditing, spot checking, monitoring, trend analysis, or product process review? You have to write here based on the CAPA. And then effectiveness monitoring, how frequently are you going to check and then close the CAPA? Okay, so this is the CAPA form. Okay, now I think time is up. We'll conclude with the story, sir. Just 2 minutes. We all know there is a story. Every training I tell this story, sir. There's a king. He has 7 sons. They go fishing and they get 7 fishes. You all know that, do you know or not? Okay, 7 fish they get. They dry the fish. All the fish dry except one. One fish doesn't get dry. Then the prince will go and ask, fish, fish, why have you not dried while others have dried? Then it says, a straw of hay, you know hay, dried grass, it has blocked the light, so I did not get enough sufficient sunlight, so I did not dry. Then he goes and asks the straw of hay, why have you blocked the light? It says, the cow has not eaten me. There is reason for everyone here. And he goes to the cow and asks, cow, why have you not eaten the hay or the straw of hay? It says, the boy has not let me loose. I mean, it is tied to a post, he has not let loose. Then he goes to the boy, why have you not let the cow loose? He says, my son is weeping. He goes to the son, asks the son, son, why are you weeping? He says, the ant has bitten me. He goes to the ant and asks, ant, why did you sting that boy? Ant says that this boy has put his little finger in my ant hole, he is disturbing my home, so I beat him. That's the story. Now, when we ask, some people, for the root cause, they say that because the hand has bitten the boy, this has happened. Is that the root cause? Okay. Then I asked for the CAPA, he said, they have written a CAPA, I mean, just an example. Okay, henceforth, the boy his hand shall be tied back so that he will not be in a position to disturb the ant hole and so that the ant will not bite him again. Is it possible? Is it human? No. Then what is the root cause here? The root cause is first thing is there is no supervision on the boy. See, he has to go at 7 o'clock in the morning, liberate the cow to allow it to eat the grass. He has not done that, there is no supervision. And there is no deputy assignment. This guy has not come, someone else should have done that. So these are the root causes. And here, I close it with a statement that raining reason is a no season. You have rains in the monsoon, you have chills in snow in the winter, you have hot sun in the summer. There is reason for all these things, but not for the reason. You cannot tell reason at any time. Reason cannot be entertained, sir. In this story, everyone has got a valid reason, but the work is not done. So raining reason is a no season. So the regulators, when you go to the industry, please ensure that you are not there to listen to the silly reasons. So there is much to discuss, sir. Because of the time, I have to close it. Thank you.